All right, here we go, folks. Several people have DM'd me about this, and I actually talked about this on, well, technically not my channel, but there have been several other YouTube channels since yesterday that have posted videos reporting on Monique demanding demanding a public apology from Tyler Perry after the Will Smith and Janet Hubert sit down in reconciliation on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air 30th anniversary reunion special. So people wanted me to talk about it, give my thoughts and opinions, and yeah, this is going to be a bit of a doozy. I feel like maybe, I think I've done a video on this a while ago, back when Monique released the private phone call. I believe this was in 2018. And yeah, this is pretty interesting. So before going further, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, hit subscribe, click that bell icon and select all, and follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. So there was a post that she made, I believe it was on Instagram. Hats off to Will Smith for apologizing for what he did to Janet Hubert's, everyone's Aunt Viv, career life when she was young. Basically, yeah. Okay, sorry, I was reading what was in parentheses, but hats off to Will Smith for apologizing for what he did to Janet Hubert's career and her life when he was young. This was Thursday on Instagram. Perhaps Tyler Perry, who has admitted in private that he was wrong, will follow suit and be man enough to apologize in public like he promised. We'll work on Oprah and Lionsgate a little later. This has been a bit problematic because there have been multiple times in the past where something within the black community will happen, whether it be two people getting together in regards to like a Will and Janet, patching things up. And I forgot there was also another time, but I can't remember it. But it was recently. I remember it was reported on one of the, I guess you could say pop media outlets. And there was something big that happened. And Monique made a thought-provoking post about the situation, but then she just threw in the Tyler and Oprah stuff right at the end, which to me kind of tainted the entire message she was going for. Now, what I was saying earlier in the video is like, I think on Comedy Hype, The Breakfast Club, and then there was another channel too. They have done, videos covering, Monique's, demand of a public apology. And I, made initial comments in each of those videos, and that sparked some discussion in the comment section. Let me just go to the one for Comedy Hype because I left a lot. I got a lot of comments on that one. So yeah, this was Comedy Hype. Monique urges Tyler Perry to apologize to her after Janet Hubert reconciles with Will Smith. That's the video title. And my comment has 22 replies because, I was having not a back and forth, but pretty good conversation with people. So here we go. Here's what I wrote. To take a beautiful reconciliation that has almost taken 30 years to occur, then flip the narrative to make it about her own personal problem is no different than when she, referencing Monique, used the narrative of black people not being paid fairly in show business to urge fans to boycott Netflix because she felt that she was being lowballed due to racism, despite Chappelle and Rock, black comedians, getting multi-million-dollar deals. The major difference between Will and Janet's reunion is that both sides came to the table explaining their perspectives of what happened almost 27, 28 years ago. Both learned details about the other's life that they did not know at the time. Will feeling like the world was against him, Janet going through a lot in her personal life. Both apologized. Will for not understanding the power of his words by, calling her difficult. Janet for saying so many vile and nasty things towards Will Smith over the years. And that allowed both of them to begin the healing process. As of now, Monique has not once claimed any responsibility and has been crying victim without acknowledging any possibility that she contributed to the problem or problems that she has been experiencing over the years. Perry called her, tried to not only apologize, but offer to get together the money to give her a fair slice of the pie from Precious. However, go back to that leaked phone call between Perry, Monique, and her husband. They literally double teamed him and basically broke down how they wanted him to apologize when the man was literally trying to make things right. I mean, Janet has put the Fresh Prince cast on blast many times over the years, but she didn't tell them to suck her D if she had one like Monique did to Perry, Daniels, and Winfrey. If she isn't willing to apologize for those stunts and more, I don't see her getting a sincere apology at all. The only time in my life I remember either being someone demanding an apology or being forced to do it when I was a little kid. Like if you do something wrong, like if you poke someone or hit someone, then like a teacher or your parents will make you apologize to the other person, even though good and hell well you ain't mean it. That's one thing. But I think this goes back to what I was saying about Janet Hubert in my video about the Fresh Prince reunion and Will Smith's Red Table Talk. There's a lot that goes into saying someone ruined your life. There's a lot that goes by. It's easy to make that statement, especially when you feel wronged. But when you feel wronged, it's hard to accept that you could have been in the wrong as well. Like I mentioned this in the Red Table Talk video I did. I kind of went into the Monique thing, but not too much. But I did kind of compare it to the Janet and Will situation. And as my post on the Comedy Hype video showed you, that I took time to sit back and reflect on how Monique could make this about her. Now, it could be said that perhaps maybe 10, 15 years from now, Tyler Perry will sit down or whatever and apologize publicly. But I don't think Monique is going about this the right way. Even from the beginning with the Netflix thing, it's like, I don't know Monique. I've never met Monique. I just love her talent. I love the Parkers. I loved her BET talk show. Almost Christmas. She was my favorite part of that movie. But, I mean, I just feel as time goes on, Monique is just going to be remembered as a bitter, washed up has-been who's blaming everyone else for her problems. And just like with the Janet thing, I talked about how I think it was a bit severe to just put it all on Will, saying, hey, Will, you ruined my life. You ruined my career. There's a lot that goes behind that. It's like, I mean, she did apologize for, what she was saying over the years, the vile things being said online and everything. But she even did say, I think, how if she could maybe have told people about her personal problems, given that, the abusive relationship at home, her dealing with being pregnant and whatnot, that contributed to her demeanor on set. Not to mention, how, Will was pretty much the loud, rock star, if you will. And, Janet was used to a more professional environment. So that's where they kind of clashed ideals, which is common. I mean, you look at how, Florida Evans was on the set of Good Times, where you have like JJ being the main star. So when you have like these, or, Jaleel White as Steve Urkel pretty much being the star over experienced actors and whatnot in the game for a while, there's always going to be a clashing of heads between the young generation and the one that came before them. Even though I didn't know that Janet was like only 13 or 14 years older than Will. It's just one of those situations where you look at the Monique thing, and even if was nothing she did wrong, because the recording from what Tyler did say, she didn't do anything wrong. Just looking at how she's been handling the situation has not been a good reflection on her at all, in my opinion. Like, not just the boycotting Netflix, but I feel like Monique has been proven she's been proving the opposite of what she's trying to prove. She's trying to prove Monique isn't difficult to work with. Monique isn't against, I guess you could say collaboration or playing the game, not playing the game, but, having a horse in the race. But I just look at all the times that Monique has been on like radio shows or interviews. When people are trying to explain things to her, it's almost like if you don't fully agree, if you're not fully Team Monique, then you're looked at as the enemy. Because there have been countless times where she'll be on a talk show like The View and then have Whoopi Goldberg on there, or she was on the Steve Harvey show and then she was on The Breakfast Club. After every one of those interviews, especially the ones that didn't go, I guess you could say, the way she wanted them to, she would put the radio show host or the talk show host on blast, coon, sellout, and whatnot. And it's like, you're literally making it hard to be any kind of sympathetic towards you because of how you're acting. Now, like I said about the Janet thing, even if it's true, like Will was the, the main reason for everything falling apart, 27 years you let that drag you down. 27 years. And then with the Monique thing, it's over, what, 3 or so years, 3 or more. She's allowing that to just bog down her life. So regardless of how things play out, I just hope we take a lesson from this. I'm glad Will and Janet were able to, break, I guess you could say both take a hold of the olive branch and come together. But I just hope that this teaches us that being bitter does nothing good to anybody, especially if you're bitter and then the person you're mad at has just moved on with their life. Like, you can stay mad at Tyler and Oprah and Lee Daniels, but they're out there doing their thing. And you're just being known for I guess you could say, boycotting Netflix, being difficult, being bitter. I know there are some people who are saying, Monique is a champion for, the black women in the industry and whatnot. But I always say the same thing. If she would have gotten that, alleged or whatever the hell she felt she deserved from Netflix, we wouldn't have heard about this. She wouldn't be going on this, Netflix boycott tour or, F Tyler Perry, F Oprah tour. She wouldn't be doing that. She would just be getting that money and everything. Just like when she said boycott Netflix, like, what would I boycott Netflix for? And even if we boycott Netflix and you got paid what you felt you deserve, like, what would that do for the black community? You would take that money and use it on your family. Would you donate it to like a pro-black cause or whatever? Like, it's all about you. That's what this really boils down to. Like, everything from she just takes these moments or these movements and then morphs them into self-serving purposes because she felt that she was wronged. So I just don't know how far or how long this is going to go, but I mean, it definitely feels like it's going to go on for quite a while. I mean, the difference here, if you ask me, is the fact that Monique still has opportunities. It's just we don't hear about them much. Like, a lot of people don't talk about the Las Vegas residency she has. I don't really know how that's working now during the pandemic, but we know she was slated to get that. And I feel like more and more people who are coming up are going to remember her for being the way she is now versus her extreme talent, which I find Monique very funny. Like I said before, Parker's, I was watching a few episodes on Netflix the other day, still makes me laugh back in the day when it was first on the air. But she's allowing these feelings of bitterness and whatnot to diminish her career. It's like, the more she gets up on here and paints this narrative of being the victim and demanding apology, you can't demand a sincere apology. You can't. Because if an apology eventually comes out, it's going to be forced and it's really not going to do anything for anybody. So I feel like if there's another great coming together of two black individuals in the business, we'll be expecting to hear another Monique post. I mean, hell, I think Tyler Perry just posted about how Tyler Perry Studios is doing a Thanksgiving giveaway for food, for families, to pick up a plate or something like that. So, I mean, you can keep, hooping and hollering about getting an apology, but Tyler Perry's doing his thing. He's still moving forward, new projects, philanthropy, giving back, while you're just sitting around moping about why you feel wronged. And like I said in my other video, it's like, I've researched the story and whatnot, listened to interviews, looked at timelines, and I don't really see where Tyler Perry did much of anything wrong. It's like, I guess you could say she was the person he was counting on to come to bat to prove she wasn't difficult, but he never said it publicly. I guess is like the main reason for that quote unquote dispute. I don't even want to say dispute because, Tyler at this point, he hasn't said anything about it. I mean, kind of like the Janet and Will thing. Will kind of, over the years never really brought it up or said anything about it. It was Janet who was proven to be the outspoken, difficult person. But I just don't know. I just know that her way of going about it isn't really helping anyone. It's just making her look worse and worse. I mean, like, I was just looking at Twitter and I see, a couple people like, yeah, put it. Well, hang on, let me see if I think I had it just now up on my page. Yeah, not too many people are even talking about it. I mean, okay, here, one tweet. I just saw a post that said Tyler Perry will probably give folks Thanksgiving dinner to ease his mind so folks will forget the bullshit he pulled Monique. The thing about Monique is these things that are happening to her, but the fact of the matter is, in my opinion, she's a narcissistic psychopath and a great actor. Monique allowing Tyler Perry to hold this much power over her. I hope Tyler Perry was aware that Monique was recording a conversation. I think Monique needs to stop bothering with Tyler Perry. He's a billionaire. She needs to pick herself up and keep going. I don't like how she calls her husband daddy in front of everyone. It's kind of uncomfortable. Monique is a talented, beautiful black woman. Yeah, she's talented. Guys, I agree. She's hilarious. Who knows? And at this point, who cares? Tyler Perry tried to reach out to Monique and she secretly recorded him, then put the video on YouTube. Monique wants Hollywood and Black Twitter to throw her a pity party, and it's not happening, so now she's bitter. Monique is always crying like a leave Tyler Perry alone. I wish Monique would shut up about Tyler Perry. Oh my God, Monique airing Tyler Perry as she should. Okay, nobody believed Dark Aunt Viv, and here comes Will saying she was right. It's giving me Monique vibes and Tyler Perry vibes. I mean, these tweets are pretty much going back and forth saying the same thing. Oh, well. Well, guys, you pretty much got my assessment on it. What do you think? Like, I've kind of washed my hands of it. I don't care. Like I said, I've done a video on this in the past, and I only really do videos on specific topics if enough people ask me to. So let me know what your thoughts. And like I said before, just because this is like a Tyler Perry focused channel, I don't work for the man. I've never met the man. I never talked to the man. So I'm not going to sit up here and, people say, oh, you're biased because you talk about Tyler Perry. I don't care. I'm talking about the situation. So with that being said, oh, here we go. I hope Tyler Perry, you do not apologize. You don't owe Monique nothing, and that doesn't make you less of a man. She needs to let old dogs lie, and good luck with Oprah. I hope she doesn't apologize for shit either. And then I'm seeing more tweets about, I know what happened between Monique and Lee Daniels, Monique and Oprah, but what did Tyler do again? I don't really know what's happening. I don't know. I just feel like I doubt an apology is coming back anytime soon. And based off how Monique is acting, I wouldn't be apologizing either. And on top of that, Monique, I'm not going to just say get over it, but just understand that not everyone is going to apologize for wronging you. And you waiting around for an apology isn't going to help your career move forward. So I really do hope that you move forward with that and promote what you're working on next rather than promoting bitterness, anger, and things of that nature. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And thanks to the patrons over on Patreon. I appreciate you supporting the channel. If you would like to donate as well, feel free to do so by hitting me up on PayPal or Cash App. And yeah, I mean, until you apologize yourself for how you've been blasting people and recognizing that, a lot of people in the industry saying you're difficult to work with probably are saying it because it's true. So there we go.